You do that. We're live.
We're live, but
Yes.
but
That TV Monday. Yeah, that TV Monday.
that TV money.
God, Chris, that intro is so fantastic that I feel like it's a lot to live up to.
Well, you better live up to it then.
It's a lot of pressure, man. It's a lot of pressure.
Sergio keeps on me. He's like, when Show Me the Money you gonna get a intro? I'm like, dude, I got a lot of crap on my plate. I get to it when I get to it as quick as I can.
Come on, Sergio.
Don't worry.
You're Sergio. Like the Show Me the Money Club is so many miles better than this show. You already have so many advantages. Just give us this. Just let us have our intro, Sergio. Come on.
Well, there will be an intro on Show Me soon, but maybe after when RideShare comes on, we'll get that going or something. So he's I think our seventh CEO that we've had on the show though.
Yeah.
We got to get on this show. We got to get Elon Musk. We got to get the CEO of GM. We got to get the EV CEOs on here now.
Sure, no problem. I'll call Mary. I was going to talk to her anyway because I'm dating her sister.
Okay. Elaine. Well, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we're going to double date with her and Elon and Bill Gates. So
all right. I was. I had a smelling of a turd in my bed, so I called up Amber. I'm like, what's going on here? She could probably get me in touch with him.
Okay, there you go. Oh my God! Speaking of turds, have you followed the whole poop plane fiasco? Did you see that?
The poop plane, no, but I know about the poop map that's in San Francisco.
Oh yeah,
if that works.
No, no. Just wear shoes in San Francisco. It's just wear shoes. But a Delta flight. A passenger had explosive diarrhea and he was crawling up and down the hallway, the passageway, the aisle, the center aisle, and he got shit.
Like grabbing his ass like a dog.
I think so. Maybe it was itchy. And no, seriously, this happened. You Google this. I don't have the link, but there was shit all up and down the center aisle, and it was so bad that the flight attendants had to make their own biohazard suits out of aprons and plastic bags, and then it was so just untenable. And then the passenger locked himself in the.
When was
bathroom.
This? I didn't hear about this at all.
I think it was at the beginning of September, and then they were on their way to Spain. They were on their way to Spain, Chris, and they turned the plane around and landed and went back to Atlanta, I think, because they had to clean because it was a biohazard.
Oh my! Oh yeah, you're right. On September 1, piloted Delta flight heading to Barcelona, Spain from Atlanta. That's a long freaking flight too.
I can't remember how
it's not a short flight. Oh,
I would have.
The mess
sat
by the event forced the U-turn before the plane could reach So it literally happened like as they were like before the hitting the ocean. So they were only on the flight for a little bit, but damn. Yeah. It took approximately 8 hours for the 336 passengers to reach Barcelona, but few complained. Dang. No, I didn't even hear about that. Usually I do hear about that stuff.
So Delta now has the record for most shit-related flight cancellations.
One. Oh, speaking of the devil, there's Sergio. You got 3 behind the wheels today. Good, awesome.
Nice. All right. Wow, that's a busy man. I don't know how he does it. How he juggles all that. Anyway, we should probably do our show.
Yeah, I think we should. So we got quite a bit going for you today. We got to know we got to talk. You want to talk about costs and everything. When it comes to knowing your costs, it's something that Sergio and I talk about, that you need to know your costs. But we're going to take it a little step further, differencing between, rideshare driving when it's gas powered versus a EV. Sir, that's something that you wanted to talk about. So we're going to be talking about that. And clearly, if you don't know your cost per mile or anything like that, it's definitely going to cost you money, because you don't know what rides you're going to accept. You don't know what's going to be worth it. You don't know what's not going to, and what's going to be at a profit, what's going to be at a loss. So the smartest thing to know is how much are you going to make and how much are you going to spend per mile. You need to know that. If you don't know that, you're running a charity, you're not running a business. And as these companies say, you are running a business. We say it as well too, because you are in business for yourself. So you need to do that. Explain how, what is this? Uber Lyft drive. Oh,
I forgot to. This is the Business Insider. By the way, Sergio. Hey, Sergio, when does Business Insider mail me my check? How does that work?
Hold on, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Give me 1 second.
Good morning, Chris. Hey, Kevin, and hey, Christina. How are you guys doing? Thank you for joining our show. Wow. Oh, they doubled our viewers right there.
When you get your cut. Yeah, that's the thing about the news. They don't like to give you the cut. So
that's not how it works. Oh, okay.
Unfortunately. That's why I gave up doing interviews. I'm like, I don't care.
This isn't paying. Anyone who gets into journalism to make money is a moron.
There we go.
Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm definitely the best dressed.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Gabe was featured in a Business Insider article. This is something that we talked about on Show Me the Money on Tuesday. And so I just pulled up the slides from that show. But this is Gabe and Jeff, the Sunshine Man, and Nathaniel. And then we also had Sergio mentioned in that. That's why there were 4 drivers. But Sergio wasn't lucky enough to get his picture, because when they tried taking his mugshot, he broke the camera. Oh, I can hear him right now. He's saying, "Oh, you son of a
son of a bitch."
But we're gonna be talking about also the price of EVs. Some of them are dropping. What's going on with the IRS credit, the $7,500, and a couple other things when it comes down to it. Also, I think we're gonna squeeze in your new battery replacement on your Bolt and kind of talking about that. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's dive in. Yeah.
All right. So EV Money September. First off, I think you want to promote your EV group.
I'm going to pimp my group,
Facebook, which we are live on the Facebook page, as well as the RideShare Guy Facebook page, totally, YouTube, and on Twitter. So if you're on one of those, definitely hit up the EV Facebook group. Gabe is going to kind of talk a little bit more about that, since this is kind of his little puppy. Watching it grow into a full-grown dog.
Yeah, there are so the penetration rate of electric vehicles into the Uber and Lyft fleet isn't as great as it is for the fleet overall, for all the cars, added up nationwide, because a lot of Uber and Lyft drivers don't think that driving an electric vehicle will work for them, but there's a lot of people who are curious, and if you are EV curious, please drop by our group. If you are EV hostile, but still a polite and gentle person, please join anyway, and we can tell you our stories and tell you how we're making more money driving EVs, and maybe it'll work for you, and maybe it won't, and maybe you'll give us something new to think about, and maybe it won't. So please join. That's facebook.com groups Uber EV drivers, and the link's in the show notes, hopefully. Good night, good night.
Yeah, links in the description, so if you want to check it out. If you're looking for an EV, if you're thinking about it and you want to know what it's like, definitely hit that up. There's some good conversations going on in there, so you can definitely see what that's all about.
Yeah, we have 5,000 members from all over the world. And by all over the world, I mean the United States and one guy in Australia. But still.
Well, what on God's green flat earth are you talking about all over the globe?
Yeah, that is. That is.
Flat.
That's. Well, oh, it's a flat globe. It's not a globe if
Flat
it's
globe.
flat. Okay.
It's
Once
flat.
again,
It's in a globe. It's in a globe form.
once again, Chris, we're arguing about dimensions.
I know. I'm just playing. I'm giving you a hard time.
Oh, I see, right? Because you can't smash a like button.
Exactly. I got to give you a little
Has no-
pushback there.
It has no volume.
No, but
That's
you know
right.
what? I do want to make a trek out to the ice shelf because I want to get past it so I can see what other worlds are out there. I hear the dinosaurs are still there too.
It might be.
They didn't.
That's
They
what I've
didn't.
heard.
The
Yeah.
ice shelf is just the inside of the crater of what 65 million years ago. But on that note,
Yes.
so let's talk
okay,
about
yeah.
some cheap EVs
Again,
out there.
our on because we're all about cheap, right? A rideshare vehicle should be if you want to maximize your profits, rideshare vehicle should be as cheap as possible.
Well, not I'll one up you on that. They shouldn't be as cheap as possible, but they should also be as cheap to run as possible, or as cheap to service as possible. So there's three different things there that you want to watch
Sure,
out for.
of course.
You definitely want the cost of a car to be lower than you don't want to be driving around an $80,000 car, $100,000 car.
Unless you like that.
I mean, if you got Lux or Black or something, just watch out because in 3 years they might downgrade you to like X or regular or something. So you want to watch out for that. But
Who knows?
yeah, you just want to make sure that it is better to ride cheaper. So yeah, you want the car to be cheap, but you also want the cost per mile to be cheap. And then you want the car maintenance itself just to be cheap because all around that just means it's going to be better and more money in your pocket versus something else. Hey, Gabe in the back seat is creepy.
He doesn't like my backseat, Gabe. Yeah. I didn't notice him. Rideshare rodeo.
That's a little sneaky.
Yeah. Oh,
It's like
yeah. What's he doing
it's
back
like
there?
First Gabe.
I like the idea of me in my own backseat while I'm driving.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so to keep costs as low as possible, you want a car that's as cheap as possible. Like anything else, the manufacturers have really been pushing hard for years now to maximize production capacity, and now it's paying off. And those cars that they were promising 2 or 3 years ago are finally showing up in the dealers in numbers. Toyota's BZ4X, which had a recall last year, the wheels fell off. So if you're
That's something you definitely don't want.
so if you're one of these Toyota Prius drivers, you're like, I'm going to keep my Prius until the wheels fall off. Well, here's your chance.
Well, you get a BZ4X and the wheels fell off, and it's like, oh, now I got to get another one.
Right out of the gate. And anyway, there are lease specials because, as I've told you before on this show, if you're going to be using a vehicle commercially, it's not subject to any of the requirements in the Inflation Reduction Act about battery or materials origins or even country of assembly. So Toyota can make these cars in Japan from batteries sourced from wherever, and they can apply that $7,500 tax credit. And actually, Toyota USA is going to get that credit, and then they're going to use that to subvent your lease price and get your lease price down to less than leasing a hybrid. Of course, you're only going to be able to go 15,000 miles a year or 12,000 miles a year. But,
Yep.
I only drove 300 miles last week. So, and I made $600. So, you really need to drive that
for
much.
the part-timers out there, it can definitely make sense. I know a friend of mine, she had a lease and barely drove it. And it was like the last couple of months. So she asked me, she's like, so how's it driving rideshare? So she ended up starting driving rideshare, like maxed out the mileage almost like a little beforehand, but like made a ton of money. She was doing it like full time the last like 2 months or so on her lease. So, I mean, hey, if you want to do it that way, go for it. But yeah, just be careful with those leases, especially if you're a driver who is driving full time. If you're driving quite a bit, the lease option is not going to be the best thing for you. That's going to be something where you're going to want to own it outright or rent or whatever. I mean, that's up to you. If the money and the financials do make sense, that's where you want to go. But the other side of the coin is if you're a part-timer and you don't drive too much already, this might be something for you, especially if it's the advertised lease deal I see here is $439 for 36 months with $29.99 down, and the all-electric BZ4X is offered at $389 per month with $49.99 due at signing. So it's a little more upfront, but it's going to have a lower payment.
And there might be state and local incentives. PG&E, like my local utility, will pay you money for buying an electric vehicle. There's the local air quality management boards will pay you for trading in a polluting vehicle older than 2006. So there's a lot of money on top of that. So that could actually turn that lease into like a negative thing. If you're in California, it might bring your monthly payment down to like $100. The money you get back from the state.
The other thing too is Ford Mustang, the Mach-E, you got more discounts and lease options. That's something that's going on with the RSG side of things as well too. Is Ford Drive is talking about lease options when it comes to Ford and everything. So if you want more information on the Mach-E, there is a couple of shorts. There's a video that's going to be coming out about it very soon. So make sure you stay tuned for that. So it's going to be some interesting information there. And then
exciting news on Tesla's low-priced model. For the first time in 5+ years, Tesla is doing a major update to the Model 3. The Model 3 is their lowest priced model, their entry-level model.
For now, until they get their $20,000 car that they're talking about.
Well, they're saying $25,000, and for some reason, Elon Musk does not like the idea of an affordable Tesla, of a loss leader or an entry level Tesla. I don't know why. He's a crazy person. I think we've all established that. But so he dragged his feet for many years on that $25,000 Tesla. Mr. Gambit mentioned it, and he's going to blow up the EV market with the 20,000. Mr. Gambit says he's going to blow up the EV market, but Mr. Gambit, I don't think Tesla's going to emphasize that car, not for a long time, because for one, they mainly are building it to provide an affordable model for overseas developing markets, China, India, especially, and also. Tesla doesn't want us buying cheap cars. Tesla feels like we have more money, so they want us buying cars that are $30,000-$40,000, not $20,000-$30,000.
Hey, speaking of, I hear we have a knock at the door.
Oh, hey, boss.
Look who it is. What's going on,
man? Wow.
I'm just in my behind the wheel interview shirt.
Your regalia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, what's up?
How's it going?
Everything good?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, I think he's getting back at the comment for the broken camera because he didn't make it in the insider.
Yeah, I have a tendency of breaking a lot of things, but the camera for sure it's not one of those.
Mirrors.
Hey, Gabe, I talked about
Yes,
that cancellation disaster that you ran into this weekend, like a couple of days ago.
Oh, I saw. Yeah, I saw that. It was a great show. That was a great show on Tuesday. I enjoyed it. That was epic. Yeah, it's ridiculous, and I know you're going to do a great job with RideShare.
Pressure.
But someone's got to keep these guys accountable, man. Like, he can't have it both ways. He can't have Lyft have the image of this cuddly, sweet, gentle, woke company, and then treat workers like that. It's insane. It's borderline illegal to tell your passengers that, oh, we're charging you $6 to compensate the driver for his time, and then not give the money to the fucking driver. Are they insane? That's theft. It's not just theft. It's like petty theft. It's petty theft on a grand scale. It's like what the fuck are you doing,
over
man?
many times per hour.
But you know how that goes, right? $2 times what? 500,000 trips, million trips a month, whatever, right? It's always, drip, 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 baby. But it's bullshit. $2 for $2, bro.
But you're reminding me of the newspaper boy in the movie Better Off Dead. Do you remember that movie? You remember that movie, Chris?
No.
It's
I
a
know
John
what you're
Cusack
talking
movie from the 80s, and there's a paper boy who's like chasing him all over the place because he owes the paper boy $2. He's like, I want my $2. I want my $2. Where's my $2?
Yeah, I figured it out at the end though. Before I go, because I got an interview in like 5 minutes. Gabe, you have to, like, I know you do. You use the in-app navigation for Lyft? No, it's garbage. That's like shit.
No, I do. I do use it because it doesn't. Because I know Oakland so well, I don't really need to
Okay,
use it. I just
but
need it as a general.
Google.
Show me where I am.
I use Google Maps as like it just
Okay.
when I accept the trip, it automatically in like 5 seconds it switches to Maps.
Mhm.
And then now what I do is I don't click the arrive button until Lyft asks me to click the button.
Dude, that's what I fucking did, and they still say I tapped arrive too early. I fucking did that because otherwise you shouldn't be able to tap it. If you're too early, it should give you that message.
Yeah.
Your account is in danger of deactivation, or blah blah blah. Right? It didn't. It said arrive, and then I
really?
tapped it, and well, this is the West Oakland BART station, which is the BART station platform. And then there's a big parking lot, but it's not that big. It's not even the size of a football field.
Yeah.
Well, that's where
And
they
I
get
was
stuff.
at one end.
The passenger probably was on the other side. You were on one side, and then and then the lift system goes, oh, here we go. We're just about to steal $2 from this poor schmuck.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck?
I showed your line though. I showed your line. I hope there's an AI bot hell.
But what was weird is that was because there were spelling mistakes. So whoever followed up with that.
There it is.
Yeah.
This is on the ball, baby.
Look how he says, please accept my apologies for this cancel fee not received, which is gibberish, but I don't think the AI wrote that. I think that's an actual person.
I think that's somebody in the Philippines.
But they did assign a human to quality check this. So
before I go, do you think the Lyft support is whatever they do, the cut and paste or AI bots or whatever they are, it's set up for denial initially? Do you believe that?
I'm not a conspiracy theory guy. I don't know.
Have you ever gotten out of them on the first try? Have you ever gotten anything out of them on the first try? Like, okay, look, I'm missing my cancellation. I go, hey, here's the money.
Once or twice. Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Occasionally. Yeah, especially in the early days. But recently, at least once.
Gabe's got them in, that's why.
Okay.
As a passenger, I have. Do you remember when they?
Oh, as a passenger, you will.
Remember when I canceled a ride as a passenger to see what would happen?
Yeah.
I did, and they charged me $6 after like 30 seconds. Yeah. Like the driver accepted. 30 seconds later, I canceled. They charged me $6, and then I emailed the chat bot, and they refunded it.
Okay, all right.
Right.
I will ask
probably
him
set up
that.
different. Yeah.
I will talk to him about Lyft support, baby. So Lyft lack of support.
Here's what he's gonna say. Here's what I think he's gonna say. Oh, well, I know we need to do better, because that's what Khashoggi said. But I know we need to do better.
That's okay.
And we will do better.
CEO response.
And then 3 years later, it's still the same shit.
Man, listen, as long as I get my point across, he can say whatever he wants, right? But and then 6 months later, if he comes back on again, we'll hold him to it. I go, are you doing better? No. Okay, go back and fix it.
What's Glitchgate? Who's this Glitch?
I don't know. I don't pay any attention to any of that shit, bro. That's just a bunch of YouTube drama. That's what it is. So.
Yeah, you don't want to get in the drama crap.
Yeah, that's just fucking childish drama shit.
It's not even live, bro.
It's not even live, bro. Why? But okay. I'm a chatbot.
3 weeks ago.
Yes, I am actually AI. So
yeah, I was just gonna say this is all AI. This isn't even real.
That's what's in that's what's in the back seat. That's what's in my back seat.
We're all AI.
I gotta ask you a question. Your car is
spare AI.
Tesla. Your car's not a Tesla.
Okay, I'm going.
Would you go for a nice cheap Tesla?
Oh, he's gotta go.
Okay, kick me off, Chris. I'm gone.
Audio.
Let me do it. No. Okay. Had a little thread on our EV group about, Teslas are everything. EVs are too expensive. None of them are affordable. Oh no, this was in our EV group. This is the chat. This is the comments section on a Electrek article. And I don't know why people who are opposed to EVs, why they go to articles about EVs and then shit post about EVs. Like, don't you have anything better to do? I know a lot of them have short sold Tesla on the stock market. And do you know
I don't
that
know.
Tesla?
I don't. You know what?
Tesla's the
though?
most
I
shorted
don't-
company in history.
Yeah,
Did you
but
know
here's
that?
the thing. I don't bet against what's her name? Skeletor.
Skeletor?
Nancy Pelosi. I,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't bet against her. I mean, if you're making what? How much do they make a year? And she's worth like hundreds of millions of dollars now.
Well,
I don't bet against her.
her husband was a multimillionaire when she went into Congress. So that's
Yeah,
why
but
they're-
the
they-
amount.
do you-
that
can I
the,
wait? Can I wait?
let's-
Can I tell you about Nancy Pelosi? She's a family friend of ours. So she lived across the street from my aunt, and so
Oh, did you have tea and crumpets with her while getting her haircut?
you know, when I was a kid, she took me to Epstein's Island, and
Oh, boy.
yeah, no, she's not. Politicians are weird. Politicians
Yeah, they are.
do have just no personality. There's like, whoop. But she she used to like. I used to go on play dates with her kids, and she would like drive her station wagon. Like this is before she was just a mom. It was weird. It's weird to think like I knew her. And then Dianne Feinstein lived at the other end of the block. So,
Oh boy,
yeah, I
crazy.
know.
Now you got to climb over the fence to get there.
No. They let you in. In fact, I've dropped off passengers. It's Presidio Terrace is where they live. And oh no, Feinstein doesn't live in Presidio. She sold her house in Presidio Terrace. She lives on Billionaires Row, but she used to live there, Presidio Terrace. You could just drive in. Anyway, wow, we digress a lot. Anyway, Teslas are now cheap as fuck. Oh wait, go back to that last slide, the last one. So,
That one?
yeah, so Tesla has they've built a new. Did we pass the slide with the new Tesla with the updated Model 3?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Oh, there we go. Welcome to ADHD theater, folks. Anyway, this is the refreshed Model 3, and it has new fascia front and back, so it looks sleeker and more modern. And they've updated the interior, made it look a little more upscale. There's nicer seats. They have perforated and ventilated seats. The front seats are now ventilated, which is a nice thing. And new touch. There's a rear seat touch screen, and this is all standard. You know, people compare a car like this. I had a guy compare the Model 3 to a Toyota Corolla, and like, okay,
They're not even in the same arena.
like, oh, he's like, oh, are they? You know what he said? They're the same size. I'm like, what? This doesn't. It's like saying a fork is the same length as a spoon, so it's the same thing.
Well, what about a spork? You could use both.
Don't complicate things, Chris.
Well, that's the 25. That's going to be the intro Tesla. Is going to be the one that you could probably compare to a Camry.
Well, it'll be it'll be much smaller than a Camry. Camrys are big and squishy inside. They're nice. Anyway, a lot of nice features, a lot of nice upgrades. I don't think the price is going to go down on the redone Model 3, but I don't think it's going to go up significantly.
Well, I think
either.
when are they when's the question is when are they shipping?
Well, they're the ones that they're already shipping them from China. They're already shipping them. So they're already shipping them from China for the Chinese as well as the European market. So those customers are you can order them now. So they're going to start getting them into drivers' hands in the next few weeks, I'm guessing. And then in the U.S., the assembly line here in Fremont in the Bay Area, they have been in the process of retooling that line. So I'm guessing, and then they have a huge inventory of new Model 3s. I think they've finished production of the last iteration of the Model 3, but they have a big inventory of it. On that last slide, you can see that if you don't order your Model 3, if you purchase one from existing inventory, the price is as low as $36,620. That's before destination, but still, that's almost a $4,000 discount, and that is on top of the $7,500 tax credit that you're going to get for that car. So that car's under $30,000. It's a pretty good deal. So there you're almost at your $25,000 Tesla right there. And actually, if you live in California, that's a $25,000 Tesla. Yep.
Yeah.
You'll get $4,500. And then the Model S, if you want to do Uber Black, you can't have a white Model S, but if you want a black Model S, you can do Uber Black with it. And they dropped the price of that. That price of that thing's come down $25,000 in the last year.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. So I mean, still $75,000 is still quite a bit, though.
That is, I mean, have you driven a Model S? It's a top of the line luxury car. It's really nice. Like some people disagree.
I haven't. I would love to take out the Model S Plaid, though. I would love to try that.
Sick. You know, it's not like the standard Model S is slow. It's like the Plaid is 1,050 horsepower.
It's like out of the world. It's like, hey, we're going to launch now.
This one's 600 horsepower, 700 horsepower. Like, what? Tell me what car you could buy with that kind of power for $75,000, Chris. Name one.
I mean,
Dodge Hellcat.
My one car is about half the price of that, but I also put a little bit of work into it, so it's about.
Well, yeah, no. Yeah. Give me $75,000, and I'll build a 1,000 horsepower car, but like off the showroom floor. And also and you also get a $7,500 tax credit now because it's under 80 grand. Now, if you want used, remember that used cars, if you buy from a dealer, you get a $4,000 tax credit. Starting January 1st, you'll get a $4,000 that's transferable. So the dealer will get that tax credit and he can just take it off the price of the car. So you can indeed, and they were like, and so this guy, the shit poster was like, well, show me where you could buy a used Tesla for $25,000. And I'm like, here you go. There's 12 of them. He's like, no, I mean low mileage. No, low mileage. And he's like, they're all high mile. No, they're not. There's one with 39,000 miles on it.
Right here. Right here in the center. It's a used 2018 Model 3 long range.
There's a
24,000 with 39,000 miles on it.
Yep. There's one with 53,000. And there's one with 22,000. 2020. That one looks too good to be true. Something's going on with that car. It's missing a door or something. No, but still. And you know, honestly, and then even on the Tesla, if you buy one from Tesla, they're as cheap as $26,000 or $27,000. The Model 3s.
I think the biggest thing is, though, if you are looking at a car right now, or if you're planning on making a purchase very soon, within the next couple of months or so, what would be your following all that you follow, what would be your best recommendations? Would you do it now? Would you wait? Is there a certain time frame? Because you said January 1st, more things are starting to roll out. What would be the best time for somebody to look at buying a car right now?
Well, right now is okay. Right now, if you need your car, go get your car, because renting a car is a lot of money. I think whatever advantage you get by waiting a few months, you probably won't. It'll probably be less than 2.5 months of rental. So,
Christina, we're going to get into that in a little bit when it comes to driving costs. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, we're getting there. If you can handle sticking around, Christina, if you can wait or come back or just watch it on video, I don't know. Actually, let's just rearrange the show just for Christina. God damn it, she deserves it. No, we can't do that. We can't do that. Anyway, I would say, but if you wait till January 1st, that those tax credits are going to be transferable to the dealer, and that's going to be $7,500 off the price of the car. However, like Kia, if you want an EV6, a Kia EV6 or a Hyundai Ioniq 5, and those are sweet cars. Those are such awesome cars for rideshare. Oh my God. Because they have a back seat like a Rolls Royce, and I'm not kidding. They got a back seat like a Rolls Royce, and they'll charge 10 to 80% in 18 minutes. 18. Some of us can't even pee in 18 minutes. Well, you
got a little problem there, Gabe.
you'll find out. You'll find out. No, I was that guy or what if you're that guy on the Delta plane, and you have some issues and it's taking you a long time to the bathroom.
There are bathrooms on the plane. Either way.
He didn't make it.
If
Anyway.
you want to get into the getting into the cost per miles.
Oh, we're doing it. Oh, we're doing it. Christina, you got your wish. Wow. We are on demand right here. Look at this. See, this is because we're in the service industry, you and I, Chris, and we want to accommodate our customers. Okay, well, here you go. This is something I ginned up this chart, and it's probably, like, I probably messed up all the formula, so it's probably completely wrong. But I did check it a couple times, and it seems to be right. I was doing an article showing that buying, and this was a couple years ago, but I did update it. I updated some of the prices about a few months ago, and I think gas is actually more now national average. Do you know what the national average price for gas is right now, Chris?
Right
It's
now,
more than $3.39.
Yeah, it's I don't know, maybe $3.79, maybe higher.
I put 3 gallons of gas into my motorcycle yesterday. $16. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
See,
that thing's a
I'm
guzzler.
lucky because I live not too far away from the Indian reservation, so I go there and get gas, so you don't pay state tax.
Or
And
federal, right?
well, you don't pay taxes. I don't know if there's.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's like a federal tax that's built into it. But
Do they?
you get gas at like a ton cheaper. It's like around here, it's like $3.89, but down there it's $3.47.
Okay. So anyway, the way I figured it, you can look at it right there. So did I put a Chevy Bolt? So I don't have a Tesla in there, but my Chevy Bolt, I figured 20 cents per mile, and I'm generous and I'm conservative, so I say 23 cents a mile when I figure out my expenses. So to answer Christina's question, you add up your total operation costs. This is what I did. You add that to the price of the vehicle, less any rebates or discounts that you might get. And you add that, and then you divide it by 5 years. Because that's what I figure. If you're driving the average distance a rideshare driver does, which I think is about 40,000 miles, then you'll do 200,000 miles. And after 200,000 miles, your car isn't worth anything. I'm sorry, but it's not. It's not. Like, would you buy a 200,000 mile car from a rideshare driver, Chris?
No.
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 Yeah, you'll get $2,500 for it or 5,000, but you're not going to get,
I mean,
like, all these guys that obsess about keeping up their resale value of their car, or, I'm like, dude, nobody wants that car. It's going to smell like balls. It's going to smell like balls and cologne.
No, not if you take care of it. I had my Jeep was 10 years old.
You were just used to
Grand Cherokee. And no, I kept that thing clean.
Yeah, I know you did.
People were still getting in my car just before I, got rid of it. And people are like, "Oh, is this newer?" And it's like, no, I just take care of my stuff. I keep.
But that's you, man. That's you. Most people.
That's
the
thing. It's your business, so you should treat it that way.
Absolutely.
Plus,
absolutely. I never use air fresheners. Yep.
Yeah,
just
and I like keeping my stuff clean.
Yep.
I like keeping my stuff as long as I can. That's the whole thing. If you take care of your stuff, it'll take care of you. So that means you can actually extend it even out further. So yeah, I was hitting close to 200,000 miles. It was starting to get to the point where it was like, okay, this is going wrong. I'll have to fix this soon. I got to get that. And it's a family car too. So I got my kids on top of it. So it's like, all right, I need something that's going to be a little bit more, better, more reliable, something newer. So that's what we went with. We went with something else.
How many crayons did you find when you cleaned out the back seat?
Nothing.
You didn't find any crayons. Oh,
nope.
All right. Come on.
Really? No, here's the thing. I'm a stickler. They cannot eat my car. They can't eat. And the only time they can eat is when we're going on a vacation. So if we're driving somewhere, if we're going to Chicago or wherever, then at that point, yeah, they can eat in the car, but it gets cleaned right after that. So once I get back home, it gets a full detail. I take everything out, make sure everything's clean. Like, I'm meticulous about all that. So yeah, that's just, again, I like to take care of my stuff because then it lasts longer. I had a friend of mine, she had a 2006 Cobalt. In 2007, half of the door was like door panel where you grab your arm to open and close the door was already starting to rub off. And I'm like, no. I mean, granted, it was a cheap car and, the parts that they put in it is cheap. But, still, it's something that you should be able to take care of, and it shouldn't have those necessarily wear and tear signs if you're taking care of it, if you're making sure make sure things are good. I have a 2006 Lancer Evolution Evo 9, and that thing still looks brand new. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a matter. Yes, pizza plug.
Right.
My
But
car, you know what? I actually, when I got my Jeep, Tony, right when I got my Jeep, it was Christmas Eve 2012. The following week, I actually left the pizzeria that I was working at the time. So that was that, and just a fun little fact.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Keep your car clean, keep it, but I don't know. People know. Like, the used car market is tight right now. So you probably actually did pretty good selling your Jeep. I don't know how much were you able to.
Yeah, I got a good trade in for it. So
Yeah.
I traded in
So,
because we got a 22 Pilot. So we
but
went
that's
with a Honda
so,
Pilot.
but that's not going to be but that's not going to last, right? Pretty soon, in the next 5 years, there's going to be a glut of used cars again,
Oh yeah.
and it'll be a buyer's market
It's
again.
already
And
starting.
you're not gonna get a lot of value out of a car with 200, 300,000 miles on it. It's just like it's a commodity. Your car is a tool for work, and you're going to use it up.
Yep.
And you could be and of course, you should be super conscientious just for safety and also for your passengers' comfort. But let's be honest, is your average Uber or Lyft experience as a passenger, does it reflect like most drivers, like they probably don't keep their cars that clean or that nice, right?
A lot. And you know what? Over the years, it's definitely gotten worse. So, backtrack, a few years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago, it was a lot different than it is today. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching now or watch Show Me the Money Club or the channel, you probably take care of your cars. But there's a lot of drivers that don't. And it's unfortunate. So you'll start seeing things like falling apart and breaking on the car, and it's like, they just don't care. But that to me is a piss poor attitude when you look at it, because
It's
you want to
always
make sure you keep it as clean as it can be. I don't
it's
offer
always a
water. I don't offer snacks. I don't offer that crap. Nobody's getting that crap from me. I'm not investing into that. Back when I first started, that was kind of like the process, and that was kind of the thing, because you were actually getting paid enough to be able to go out and grab water and say, hey, you want a water or something? Sure, that was fine back then. Today's day and age, they barely pay you enough to get the gas, especially when it's starting to go up. I mean, how much longer until you're going to see $7 a gallon again? It's probably pretty soon.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's another thing, when you're thinking. So, but I always just do moving back to how we calculate this. You go on my assumption on the assumptions of what the prices are today. Like, in the future, could be more, could be less. Probably it'll be more because that's the way things go. But just figuring that.
Well, one thing to note, Christina, I'm sorry. Christina.
She left. She left.
Maybe she's in the background, but
she said I gotta. Yeah, she said I gotta go. But anyway.
Well, we do have a video though, explaining kind of how to get your costs and figure out more for your own particular vehicle, whether it's going to be EV or gas or hybrid or whatnot. There's a lot of factors that you got to take into it. You should be accounting for your maintenance, oil changes, your car tires, anything that's going to associate with the cost of the vehicle. You should be figuring it out in there, and then figuring it out about the particular mileage that it's going to take, and divide all that. So, I mean, it's probably going to take you about an hour or so to figure that out when it comes down to it. But yeah, once you figure out your costs, you're going to be able to know, okay, this particular ride that's coming in, hey, this ride's going to be worth it for me to take, and this ride that they're offering me is not worth it, so I'm not going to take it. So that's one way to figure it out. But the thing that you kind of wanted to hint at and talk about today was the difference between an EV cost and a gas powered cost, and kind of the differences that are associated with it, where, some people are saying, hey, I don't want to sit at a charger because it might make me lose out on $150. And when in turn, that could actually be okay, because, if you're just sitting there charging for, 30, 40 minutes or so, during that time, how much are you really going to lose? And then what's the cost difference associated with driving an EV versus a gas powered?
Well, look, I mean, they're assuming that every hour of every day is like peak business. And like if you drive the morning rush, you're going to take a break midday when it's
I like
slow
it, Tony.
anyway. So I really, that argument doesn't make any sense. But here's the thing. Well, we're getting back to the how much range do you need argument. And let's set that aside completely because, we're going to cover that in depth in other shows. And but the important thing is, if you say you need 500 or 600 miles of range a day, because you don't want to waste time charging. I mean, if you buy, like my car will go 300 miles at stop and go city speeds where I don't get on the freeway that much. So it'll go 300 miles. It takes me 20 hours of work, an average, to go 300 miles. 20 hours. Are you really going to work 20 hours with no break? And are those 20 hours, even if you could legally, which you can't, even if you could, is every single one of those 20 hours worth driving in? Sometimes I sit for 45 minutes without getting a single ping. Like, really? You're really going to lose money? But if you burn up, how much, like if you burn up 15 gallons of gas a day going your 500 miles, that's somehow going to make you more money? It's an argument that only makes sense if you don't know how much you're spending to operate your vehicle. That's the only wacko universe where that would possibly make any sense. Because if you know how much your expenses are, if your car costs you 30 cents a mile and you're taking a 60-mile trip for $100, are you really, like, how much money are you making? Are you making any money on that? Especially if you have to come back, if you have to deadhead most of the way, right?
Yep.
So
I think the biggest thing, and Lady Storm just posed a question saying, so if mine's 35 cents a mile, then what should you accept? What should you accept or not? Honestly,
short trips, lady.
Honestly, the biggest thing is going to be up to you. I would not take anything under 35 cents a mile. So when the ping request comes in for the ride, you gotta do a little bit of quick math, and that is you got to figure out first off, where is the pickup and drop off in according to you. So is it going to be something where you are going to have to deadhead because you're going to have to kind of add that in? And I know Uber's is only 10 seconds long, so you don't get that quick, but we could do some simple math here. So if the price of the trip is, say, like to the trip is 5 miles and then it's a 10-mile trip, that's 15 miles for that particular trip. So that means 35 cents for 15 miles you have to account for. Is that going to actually be
like
above what they're offering you or not?
$6,
Now,
yeah.
I like going beyond that because I don't want to operate at a profit loss of what my car's worth. I think that's going too low, because if you're just operating at your expense of what your car is, you're still losing money because you're not going to be able to get beyond that. You want to make sure that you're doing 50 cents plus a mile. You want 60, 70. I look for stuff that's like $1 a mile or more. That's what I try to shoot for. It's just
that seems to be the most widely recognized, like, quick formula. I just look at the total trip time. I add up the time to pick up and the time, then the trip time, and then I never take trips that are going to drop me somewhere where there's no rides back or there's no rides, in that area. So if in general now, if it's busy, I don't take anything longer than 12 minutes total. If it's slow, 16.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really fast.
Tony says use Maximo, which is a good idea. But it is only available on Android, and that will actually show you the breakdown, the per mile, the per minute. But it's something that we go back and talk about on Show Me the Money is know your worth. So you want to make sure that your cost is associated. What does it cost you to drive your car or to accept a ride? You want to know that you're getting paid properly. So that means not only covering the cost of your car, but also covering the costs of whatever you're driving for. So are you paying are you trying to pay for your bills? Are you trying to pay for a vacation? Are you trying to pay for all of the above and then more? Are you planning for your future? What are you trying to do with that particular money? And then that way, that can actually help you figure out what would be worth it versus what would not.
But the
And
number,
sometimes,
but yep. Sorry.
I don't know, I was going to say, and sometimes that may change. You may sometimes want to take a ride that's lower than that, only if it's taking you to an area that you want to be and you want to get there, not costing you anything. So just driving without somebody in the car, you may look at something like that. But again, it's a case by case when you're going to deviate from what your threshold is. You just need to know what your threshold is, where you want to go. And then one of the things that you were talking about, Gabe, is you wanted to talk about the differences between, knowing your costs when it comes to driving an EV versus a gas powered, and how it can be, lessened because of, you got less maintenance, you got less wear and tear, and then just less cost of operation. So you can talk about that if you want.
Yeah. Well, the bottom line is, I think somewhere around 30 cents is going to be average for almost any car. It kind of doesn't even matter. Like, I think probably on average, an EV is going to be 5 or 10 cents a mile cheaper to operate, based on a comparably priced new or used car. And right now, a Toyota Prius is pretty much same price as an EV, the lower priced EVs. And so it kind of doesn't matter what you're using to calculate your total expenses, so long as you're thinking about it and doing it, because it's going to be different for everybody. And I'll give you for example, like, Chris, do you count your expenses, all the expenses for your car, and then divide by the total number of miles you drive in a year, or how do you do it?
So I figure out, I actually do it a little bit different, because I'll take, okay, what's my expected time between oil change, what's it cost for the oil change, and divide it by that. So I have my oil change numbers. Then, I look at the tires, what's the expected for that. And I kind of do it by line. And then when it comes to gas, same thing. Okay, so I get, 22 miles per gallon or something. Then figure it out that way. So I figure it out by a cost breakdown of it. And then that way I could figure it out. When I do depreciation, that's over a depreciation value. So I might do it a little bit different. That's why I say it's going to take a little bit different when it figures it out, because I'm looking at everything. So I'm looking at the cost of the gas. I'm looking at the cost of what my expected range is for a particular maintenance. So if you're looking at doing, an oil change at 7,500 miles, if you're looking at a radiator change at every 30,000 or 50,000 miles or something like that, you want to know specifically what your car is going to entail.
You're getting super granular. What I did for that chart was I just looked at mymechanic.com and Consumer Reports data for average maintenance costs, because you don't know. Like, your car, like, a lot of people love to brag that their Prius never need anything but tires and air filters and oil filters for 400,000 miles. And that probably happens a lot, but you never hear from the guys who needed to buy a new transmission or a new battery at 200,000 miles. They're not going to brag about how great their Prius was, because they hate the piece of shit, right? But if you had a good experience with it, you love it. It's the greatest car ever, of course. I'm going to drive the wheels off it. And God love the Prius guys. I don't know how anybody could be so passionate about something so boring, but it's okay. It's okay. That's your thing, man. But
then,
no matter how, but my point is that how you calculate your expenses is going to be different for everybody. And Sergio seems to do it per hour. Like, what are my expenses per hour? I used to do it that way, but then I'm like, well, it might make more sense to know how much you're going to spend per mile, because
that's the same thing. I go by per mile, because
depending on the kind of trip or how busy it is, it could be different. It could be different.
Everything's based on per mile. Time is one thing, but
so what's your number? What's your number per mile? What do you use?
Right now, I actually have to redo it, because I'm bad, because I actually haven't figured out for the new Pilot yet. So I haven't taken the time. I've just been running nonstop all the time. So
we have some comments here. We have a person, Stealthios Soundnotic. He is renting a Tesla and he likes it. And he says he profits, but Stealthios, what do you mean when you say that you profit? Does that mean you earn more money than you pay in expenses? But I mean, how much more? Like a penny an hour, $100 an hour? There's a big range in there. So how profitable is it? Like, you need to know specifically. And then how much is that going to change if you bought the Tesla? And also, do you have the infrastructure to charge that Tesla every night? Because I absolutely, it's the official position of this show that we do not recommend you buy an electric vehicle unless you have a place to charge it every night. The exception would be is if you have thoroughly researched the situation and you know that you can like charge cheaply and you'll always have a full battery at the start of your shift. Like, if that's the case, then go to it. But we don't recommend you buying an EV unless you can charge it at home cheaply. Anyway, but Stealthios wants to know, is it worth it? Should I get the Model Y? Should I get the Model Y with the 7-seat version? Well,
I think whatever makes sense to you and your
you
particular
got to
market.
look, but know your market. Know your market. Don't just assume that if you have an XL that the rides are going to be pouring in. Because
it's not. And so I have a Pilot. It's an 8-seater. So I got 3 in the back and then 3 behind that. So it sits more than fine comfortably. But
do you coach a baseball team or?
No, it came with the third row.
9 seats.
I'm like
crazy.
No,
don't you need a special license? 8 seats still.
No, it's driver, passenger, and then second row and third row both have 3 seats.
You're driving the short bus, bro.
It looks like an SUV, but
you paint it yellow.
Well, yellow and black. It is black, so
go race transportation. Yeah, all right.
It's all black rims, black black exterior. It's nice.
Good.
Black interior, leather as well too, which is even better. But
so nice.
yeah, I mean, it was nice, but yeah, when it comes to XL, the rides on XL, usually you're getting less offers because it's not as popular, and you actually sometimes have to go further to go to the pickup because it's fewer and far between. There's less XL drivers on the road than X, and same thing with less amount of people wanting XLs. So you got to take that into account as well too. As long as it makes sense to you and your market and what's going on there, then you can make your decisions. But that's where you kind of got to reflect on everything and say, oh yeah, I want to do XL, I want to do this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, well, does your market support it? Are you just trying to look at it for something extra? What are you trying to do there? So once you can answer those questions in your particular market and what you're wanted doing with that, then you can go from there and kind of figure it out.
Yeah, but don't go to the airport, talk to XL drivers in your area. Don't invest in equipment that you might not need. Like this is something. Did I announce this last show? I didn't. Oh, you announced it on Show Me the Money Club. That the Chevy Bolt EUV, the extended model that I have, that is now eligible for comfort, for Uber Comfort. But I don't make any extra money off comfort
really,
and.
Yeah, honestly, comfort really isn't. The problem is it's the upfront fares. When they
occasionally I get extra
time and mileage. When you had time and mile or time and distance, when you had those rates, you had them set. So this is what X was. This is what comfort was. This is what XL was. This is what black is. This is all written down. It's not going to change unless you get alerted and emailed and all that. Now with upfront fares, they're shaving, they're bringing things down. There's a lot of different things when it comes down to it. And Jose just put I do XL only because I have a minivan, rent on Turo, also used for Uber. Yeah, and like I say, if your market has it, great. I mean, if you need it for another particular reason, like I wanted something that was Grand Cherokee size or bigger when we were looking at our cars. My wife and I loved the Pilot. When we took it out, we went to a bunch of different places, test drove a bunch of different cars. The last car that we test drove was the Pilot, and we just loved it. We thought it was great. And it came with the third row. It wasn't something that we planned. It was just, okay, well, hey, it's the same size as the Jeep. It's actually a little bit bigger. So it's great for the amount of stuff that I have to haul around when I'm doing different things. It's actually better for courier, because I do courier orders as well. Which is awesome. I don't know if Steve's still in here, but thanks, Steve. And then, doing stuff like that. And then just good for the kids. It's the extendable mid-row a second row, you can extend it back and up forward. So you get a little bit more place. So they have a lot more room between, their feet and the back of our seats. So they're not kicking it, they're not dirtying it up or anything. So it just depends on, your circumstances.
Yeah. So yeah, don't get equipment that you don't need. Don't buy more than you need, unless it's just for vanity, or maybe you need a big car for your family. Like you might be of a particular group that has lots of children. I won't name names.
And that's the other thing. Let's just say there's another bun in the oven or coming.
Yep.
It's good to already have that car.
Triplets.
So if you need the third row, you got the third row. Don't worry, nobody's coming. We're not planning on that. We don't want that right now.
Okay.
So
yeah, you're not expecting triplets.
yeah, we're not like Tony. He's got a bun in the oven.
Nice.
So
nice. All right. Should we move on to something else? Let's see. We still got
let's talk about
still got about 15 minutes.
The federal
tax code. Yeah, I actually, because I'm a journalist, I email public affairs people in the government and ask questions, and sometimes they answer me. So I asked the IRS spokesperson about the tax credit. So to give you some background, the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, gives you $7,500 for buying what they call a clean vehicle. If you are using this for personal use, it has to meet some requirements. It has to be manufactured in North America. The battery has to be, at least half of the components in the battery have to be from North America, and that percentage is going to increase until the year 2030, until it's 100%. And the materials, the raw materials in those batteries and the battery components themselves have to come from either North America or from a country that the United States has a free trade agreement with. They don't really specify what that means. But in general, what it means is that there are a lot of electric vehicles, especially vehicles that aren't being made in such high volumes, like the Toyotas and Subaru, BMW, Mercedes. These are cars that are not being built in the United States, that are being built overseas, and so they're not eligible for the full tax credit. Even if they're built in the United States, sometimes they're only eligible for half because they couldn't meet the materials requirements. So what you have is a very small list of cars that actually qualify for this tax credit. Now, starting January 1st, those tax credits are going to be transferable to the car dealers and the manufacturers. So in theory, this means you go in, you agree on the sale price of the car, and the $7,500 tax credit can be transferred to either the dealer or the manufacturer. And then that price can be taken off the price of the car. Not taken off the price of the car per se, but like refunded to you after the sale. So because they still get to tax that full amount, for sales tax and registration purposes.
I'm wondering if it would be something like, if you get a phone and you break it up into monthly payments or something, and then they give you that promotional code or promotional offer,
and you still pay
you on the whole thing. Okay, so iPhone 15 is coming out. I don't know if you've heard. If you don't know, you probably
you might have mentioned it once or twice, Chris. You seem excited.
I mean, because I'm getting the new one. I go in 3-year cycles, so I have the 12. I'm getting the 15 now. But
I just got this 14. Like a dope.
Yeah. So if I got the 14, I'd be like, yeah, I'll see you in 3 years. So I won't get it until the 18 comes out. I don't care. I can do 3-year cycles because that's when the battery starts dying. And it's like, okay, well, I want to at least, get a day's worth of battery. Right now I'm getting like a quarter day's worth of battery, but that's neither here nor there. So what ends up happening is, so I am, I have the pre-sale, and like AT&T was doing something special. So I already have it like ready to go, and trading in my old phone, you get $1,000 in credits. So essentially it brings it down to like $5 a month. But they tax you on the whole thing. So I'm wondering if it's probably going to be something like that, where they'll give you like credits if you're going to use.
So say the cars.
You just do a check.
So the car's out the door price is $35,000. So if the car outdoor price is $35,000, then then they take the $7,500 off the 35,000, not 31,000, which was the car's MSRP, right?
Yep. Yeah. So I'm probably
how they're
thinking that's
calculating.
probably what they're going to end up doing.
Right. But
just because when it's
the
written
Treasury
out
Department
as
wouldn't.
everything.
Yeah, but they don't know. They don't fucking know. The Treasury Department doesn't know. They haven't gotten around to writing the rules yet. I asked, is that transferable? Is that transferability going to apply for commercial? Right? You see where it says, is it 40W, 45W? So Section 45W is for commercial use. Now, if you get a clean vehicle under 15,000 pounds, you get a $7,500 tax credit. If it's over 15,000 pounds, and what I'm thinking is maybe duct taping 3 Model X's together, you get $40,000 back. So,
Damn.
Yeah. But if it's under 15,000 and it's commercial use, and it's really vague about what that means. And does that mean you have to, like my car, it's like 80% business use, 20% personal use. So do I only get 80% of that $7,500 if I bought a car under that? I don't know. But
yeah,
the nice thing about
definitely gonna figure that out. And then
they have to. They have to. It's federal law. They have to figure it out. If they don't figure it out, someone's just it will sue the federal government for not having the standards, and then the court will order the government to write the standards. But
yeah, it's
they'll
very
do it. They did it last year.
What happened in California with the Prop 22 mileage adjustment?
Oh, with the mileage adjustment. Yeah. Yeah. It is.
Very similar to that.
People forget that government has to follow the laws that they write, and government forgets that. And
yeah, they do.
I think they're working. It looks like they're working on it, but it would be really fabulous because we all qualify for this because we're using our cars for Uber and Lyft.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's going to require commercial registration, but does every state have commercial registration for vehicles?
Yeah, you're going to have, each state is operated independently. So
yeah,
each state will have its own commercial.
So I don't think they're going to differentiate. I don't think they're going to get too technical. I think they're just going to kind of leave the definition very broad of what business use is. And that means you don't have to say, okay, well, there's no like minimum, like, well, what if you only do 1 delivery a month? Like, I don't think they're going to do that. So the great news is you can really just buy any electric vehicle you want, and it would be even more fantastic. And that's why the leases are subvented, because leasing is a business use, and the owner of the car is the leasing company when you lease. Yep. So it's going to be great because you'll be able to go to a dealer and buy any electric vehicle you want, or even a plug-in hybrid. So you could buy some ridiculous, and I don't think there's any kind of price limit. So you could go buy a $95,000 plug-in hybrid BMW and get a $7,500 tax credit for it, which is great for someone who wants to do that. But anyway, basically the IRS says, we don't know yet, but I'm hoping it's going to be a great thing. So this is one more reason why maybe you should wait till January to make your EV purchase.
Yeah. Well, not only that, I think make sure you stay tuned as well here. So when there's updates, you'll be able to allow everybody to know what's going on when it comes to, the commercial purposes, the breakdown of it. So will it be different, ordinances or something like, when you do taxes for your phone or something, you can figure out, okay, I use my phone X amount for professional use and X amount for non, and then that way you can, write off part of your bill. And same thing with like, if you have a home office or anything, there's a lot of things there. So that's where it's best to talk to a tax preparer and tax professional. But when it comes to the IRS and it comes to, those types of things, they need to figure that stuff out in order for the tax preparers to actually be able to know what's going on. So,
yeah, you can't leave it vague.
Let's wrap up on this charging fail. And what's going on here?
Well, this isn't news. This is to anyone with an electric vehicle. This isn't news. The too long didn't read, Chris, is if you're not using a Tesla supercharger, the fast charging experience sucks. It just sucks. 1 in 5 charging attempts fails, and that's after calling customer service. I've spent half an hour trying to get chargers to work. And these companies they're just like David Risher or Kasha Shahi when they hear criticism. They're like, oh yeah, we suck and we're working on it. We're working on it. But they've been saying that for years, man. Electrify America is probably the most notoriously bad charging network. And I don't know what's going on with those guys. One problem is that they made investments in very expensive equipment that is now obsolete. And they're just stuck with it because a charger isn't like a pizza oven where it'll make pizzas forever. A charger is like, these companies invested millions, maybe billions of dollars in 50 kilowatt chargers that are now like so slow no one wants to use them. And now they have to replace tens of thousands of these things, and there's still supply chain issues, and these companies are like, I mean, I don't want to be mean to the people who work there, but they're, Electrify America is run by is owned by a consortium of auto manufacturers, and I just don't think they're sending their best and brightest to these companies because it's a nonprofit. They're not making any money on it. They just have to do it because of the Volkswagen, that big Volkswagen lawsuit for the Dieselgate. Do you remember?
No.
So Volkswagen put in these software fixes to make sure that their diesel cars would pass smog in the United States. You didn't know about that? And they had
no, I remember hearing about that. I don't own a Volkswagen, so I never really paid attention to it.
They paid billions in fines, and they had to buy back thousands of cars. And the money for the fines was spent to create Electrify America and build an EV charging network. So one nice thing about Germans is when they do something bad and get caught, they're very, very sorry, and they work really hard to fix their mistakes, which not a lot of countries can say. So Electrify America on paper is like a great network. There's a lot of chargers, but you go to one of those things and they just don't work. Luckily, of course, Tesla is becoming the standard, and hopefully it'll just all be Tesla at some point, and everyone can use the Tesla chargers, and because all the companies are now moving to what they call the North American charging standard, the Tesla charging plug.
Because they opened it up.
And so now we just go that, and Tesla did that so that it could get some of this sweet IRA money, right?
Oh, of course.
And then there's a little funny thing here with Jennifer Granholm, who was the governor of Michigan. She's now the Secretary of Energy, and she did a little dog and pony show of driving across a couple states in electric vehicles, in 3 electric vehicles, not one of which was a Tesla, by the way, which is a slap in the face, but the Biden administration has to pander to the labor unions because they're important to the Democratic Party agenda. So the problem with these charge stations is like you go to a Tesla supercharger station, there's a minimum of 10 plugs there, and usually 30, 40, 50 or more, right? So you're almost always going to get a plug. And if you have to wait, it's maybe a couple minutes. But the Electrify America stations, the other networks, EVgo, you go there, there's 4 and 2 don't work, and the other 2 are occupied. And so her staffers went ahead in gasoline vehicles, and one of the staffers thought it'd be a good idea to like block the charging stalls, so that when the secretary rolls up with her 3-car caravan, all 3 of them will be able to charge at the same time. But that was the optics are terrible. It was like they're in, where are they, in a Walmart in Tennessee?
Where does it say? Georgia?
Georgia?
Yes,
Georgia. They were in Georgia. It's like, of course, it's like 100 and something degrees, and it's sweltering hot. There's kids in the car, and they're waiting to charge. And then some car with government license plates pulls into the charging stalls and ices them. And icing is what you call it when a gasoline car blocks a EV charging stall. ices them,
It's
and
it's kind of like don't park in a handicapped spot if you're not handicapped stickered.
yeah, it's a lot like that. And so they called the cops. They called the cops, and of course, Granholm was very apologetic, and they smoothed it out with the family. But what's nice is that it's drawing attention to how shitty those networks are. I mean, come on, EVgo and Electrify America. You're gonna put 4 chargers in one station, in the middle of a kind of major built up metropolitan area where there's tens of thousands of EVs driving around. I mean, it's just, you're just virtue signaling. I mean, and then when some of these chargers are broken and the trouble tickets are months old, like, come on.
Yep.
It's not. It's fucked up. Okay, so that's the charging fiasco. Do we have time for anything else? No. Oh, I think you got a hard 75-minute deadline, right?
Yep. So
right.
we will we'll save the topics for next time.
Let's wrap her up. Wait, I think the most important thing we need to do right now is to thank the people who are watching and commenting. That was just awesome. I never expected anyone to show up to see me, so I'm just so pleased.
Well, what are you talking about? You've been in Business Insider, so your picture.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I forgot. I'm a celebrity. Yeah, me and Sunshine Man.
Oh yeah.
So, but thank you, Jose and number 9 and Karasu and Tony and Jose and Christina, right? You guys were great. Loved your questions. Please join us in our Uber and Lyft EV driver group on Facebook. And also, Chris, you want to plug your various enterprises?
Sure. Yeah. So make sure, if you're not already tuned in and subscribed, make sure you are. Show Me the Money Club live Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, every Tuesday here on the RideShare Guy. And then also check out my other channel where I go, and right now I just started a new little series which I go and check out all the different pizzerias around my area of Buffalo and kind of give some cool insight into whatever might be around that area. So a lot of fun, different stuff. Oh boy. What are we going on in front of a Waymo and a cruise?
I should get some good cover. I should get some good video for next time. So be sure to tune in.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. So this is what I need you to do for next time. Go out in front of a Waymo and just stand there. So you could be in the that it just sits there in front of and doesn't know what to do.
I told my wife I was going to do that. Right? Can you hear me? Or am I too far from my mic?
No, I hear you.
Okay. I told my wife I was going to do that. She says, well, what if it hits you? And I'm like,
it's not going to hit me. I'm a big orange cone.
An autonomous vehicle hits a 5'6" man dressed as a traffic cone. That's going to make nationwide news. I hope it happens. Because I know those GM's got plenty of insurance and Google's got even more. So come at me, fellas. Run me down. I've never seen one of those things move faster than 12 miles an hour anyway. So
I love it. Yes, we definitely need something where there's a video of you standing in front of a couple of them and just like detouring traffic and making them stop and getting reactions of what people are saying and thinking when it comes down to it.
I want to get a baby carriage and put smaller traffic cones in it, like they're my babies, and walk across.
Yes,
I would get some remote control cars and put little traffic cones on the remote control cars, and then drive the cars around the Waymo cars, and then have a friend with a drone hang a traffic cone underneath the drone.
Oh, so you want to know?
The car would just be in a cloud of traffic cones.
You know what I want to do is I want to take my drone out and attach like a little girl, like a little fake looking girl to it, and then just start flying it around.
No. Get a sex doll. Get an inflatable sex doll.
Like a little kid look doll that's just flying around.
A sex doll. A sex doll. Get a sex doll because they're only like this tall anyway, and then put your toddler clothes on it. And dress it up like a toddler, and then fill it with helium. And then fill it with helium, and then put it on an RC car with a string, and then just like drive it around. That's my
Yeah, I don't know, but
retirement plan.
yes, we definitely need some video of you stopping some Waymos and cruises
It's
out
happening.
on the
It's
streets of
happening.
San Francisco.
Yep.
Definitely.
Doing it.
All right, guys,
Doing it.
have a great rest of your day. Hit that like button, and we will see you next month on EV Money, and we will see you on Tuesday for Show Me the Money Club, Wednesday for Money Hungry, and all of our other great content here on the RideShare Guy. See you, everybody.